What's your vision of your tomorrow? Is it to be the best version of you? Maybe your desire is to inspire, to help the next generation and be their heroes? Tomorrow, at times, you may fall. You may experience pain. And you may come face to face with failure. But when you do, we'll be there to help you get up. Keep you moving forward and not look back. We're here to help you achieve your dreams. To work hand in hand together. To improve our community and surroundings for the better. Let's come up with tomorrow's radical ideas and implement tomorrow's cool solutions that'll put smiles on everyone's faces. So, do you have that burning desire to stay on top, keep abreast of new trends, and pick up new skills? To become tomorrow's leader, tomorrow's shaker, tomorrow's mover? Are these your aspirations? This is what we do at Temasek Polytechnic. Here, we are creating tomorrow, today.
Hello, good evening, parents and prospective students. My name is Peng Chin. I'm your facilitator for this evening's webinar. Thank you very much for sparing time on a Tuesday evening to join in this webinar on Poly or JC, especially for those of you who are considering engineering as your as a choice of course. Now, for some of you, this is a very critical time, all right, as you will be soon receiving your O-level results. I will take you through the discussion together with students and alumni in tonight's webinar. All right, before we go into the discussion point, let me introduce the panelists to you. Allow me to unshare my screen and so that you can see our face better. All right, for tonight, we have our current student as well as alumni in the panel. All right, together with me tonight, we have Ellie. Hello, Ellie.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Ellie, and I'm currently a year 2 student in aerospace engineering. I would like to apologize for having my mask on as I'm still in school. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie, for staying late for this webinar. All right, next we have Natasha.
Hi,
Hello,
good
Natasha.
evening, everyone. My name is Natasha, and I'm currently a year 2 student in biomedical engineering.
Then we have Shahil. Hi, Shahil.
Hi, Dr. Ho. Good morning. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shahir. I'm currently a year 1 student in computer engineering.
And we have Caleb. Hi, Caleb.
Hello, I'm Caleb, and I'm currently studying. I'm currently a year 2 studying mechatronics.
All right. Next, we have Ryan. Good evening,
Hi,
Ryan.
everyone. I'm Ryan. I'm a year 3 student in the diploma in electronics.
All right. Last but not least, we have Surya, who is our alumni. Good evening, Surya.
Good evening, Dr. Ho and everyone. Thanks for having me back. I graduated from mechatronics last year and currently in SCTV just completed my term 1. Yep.
Right. Thanks for joining us, Surya. All right. You can see that we have a panel of students from year 1 to year 3 and even our graduates or alumni. to help answer the question that you have. All right. So let me share my screen and continue with tonight's webinar. All right. Okay. All right, here is what we will be discussing this evening. There are two discussion points. All right, starting with the main topic, poly or JC. All right, and then we'll move on to understand what's life in poly as well as our curriculum. All right, before we start our discussion, hope to have your understanding that this evening session is not to influence your decision, but to provide you with information for your reference and consideration. Are we okay? All right. Now, very quickly, we will start off with the first discussion point with a word from our school.
We engineer your future. At Temasek Polytechnic, we work with the top industry leaders so that you get your hands on technology when it's invented, not when it's printed on textbooks. At Temasek Polytechnic, cutting-edge manufacturing centers allow you to explore the future of Industry 4.0 before you even take the first step into the working world. At Temasek Polytechnic, students learn real skills that will help you fly high and go far. Our lecturers are your friends. They're also industry experts from around the world, here to use their extensive knowledge to expand yours. Here, all the resources that you could ever need to unleash your full creative potential are available at the simple tap of your Temasek Polytechnic student ID card. Feel free to remotely program our robots from the comforts of your bedroom or 3D print the product of your dreams. At Temasek Polytechnic, we make real, tangible contributions to society, such as the world's smallest and lightest hydrogen fuel cell, the first automated wearable artificial kidney, or our 3D printed dental crowns. Industry-changing ideas that were born and bred right here on our campus. Oh, and by the way, we're located right beside Bedok Reservoir, giving us easy access to our partner programs with SUTD and SIT, and of course, a really, really big backyard. At Temasek Polytechnic, we go above and beyond to bring the world of engineering to your fingertips. Whether you're into robots, drones, airplanes, race cars, or just dreaming up a whole new world in your mind. At Temasek Polytechnic, we engineer your future.
I'd like to share with you our education landscape. This is what I have extracted from my Skill Future portal. The map is very comprehensive. The main destination is workforce, after receiving the various forms of education. This is pretty much what parents would like their children to be ultimately. That is, be independent and take care of themselves after receiving good education. And in terms of formal education, university is another destination where many aspire to be. Here, I have highlighted 6 local AU or autonomous universities, and they are NUS, NTU, SIT, SMU, SUSS, and SUTD. Even though I say that the main destination is work, we have learned from this pandemic experience that many jobs require new skill sets to stay relevant. It kind of rings a bell that in these Skill Future initiatives, we are looking at lifelong learning, meaning that we can work and then go back to school again to get another form of certification and back to work again. In short, this map has shown many pathways And for today, we will discuss about post-secondary school pathway, in particularly Poly or JC. Let's now zoom in into our discussion on Poly or JC. Let's examine the pathway for JC. After JC, the student will go to the universities. There is no direct path to work, because A-level is still a general education. It is not a professional certification. I'd like to bring up a realistic consideration. We cannot assume that all A-level students will make it to the universities. Articles in the internet shows about 70% or 80% make it to the universities from A-level. So the question is, what about the other 30%? What's next for them? I think I will leave this question to the individual to think about. Unlike JC, for Poly, after attaining a diploma, the student can join the workforce in the relevant skill area. Alternatively, for diploma holders, they can pursue higher education by joining one of the 6 autonomous universities I've mentioned earlier. In short, you can see that JC pathway is only cut to go university, but for Poly, it's either work or university. Let's take a look at the university pathway for JC and Poly, in particularly engineering degree. Take for example in NTU. For JC, it's 2 years A-level and 4-year undergrad study, attaining a degree in 6 years' time. But for Poly, it's 3 years diploma and 3 years undergrad studies, also 6 years to attain a degree. There is no difference in the number of years to get a degree in engineering. Here's an article I've extracted from the new paper by the Straits Times. From this article, we have 52% posted to Poly and 38% to JC. And for those who opt for Poly, we see that 45% of them are JC eligible students. We are seeing an increasing trend of JC eligible students enrolling into Poly. This is attributed to the ECG program. We hope that forums like this can also help to keep you better informed as you make your decision between Poly or JC. Let me highlight that Polytechnic graduates these days have many more options and opportunities to consider after attaining their diplomas. Just for your sensing, more than 40% of our graduates has progressed into one of the 6 autonomous universities. If we include the private and overseas universities, this percentage goes to more than 60%. In a move to open up admission to the universities for Poly graduates, university will rely on GPA scores for admission to most of their courses and no longer assess the O-level results. Here again, I'm taking reference to engineering courses. I'd like to share with you what GPA score system is like in the Poly system. If you score an A for the subject, you will have a score of 4 points. B plus 3.5 points, B 3 points, so on and so forth. The final GPA score you will get at the end of your diploma will be the average of these GPAs for all the subjects taken. And this GPA score is what the universities are looking at for their admission exercise. Take a reference on the admission profile for the courses in NTU here. The 2 columns here are for the A-level results, and these 2 columns here are the Poly GPA scores. You can see that it is averaging above 3.5, which is in the region of B plus and above. You can easily get this information from the university websites. As I mentioned earlier, time has changed. We see that 40% of our students are now studying in our local universities, and in fact, these students are offered places in both NTU or NUS. So the choice is really on them which uni offer them a better curriculum that best suit their preference.
If you want to know more about university admission for diploma graduates, please feel free to check out the respective university websites. What I've shown here is the two biggest universities in Singapore, NUS and NTU. One thing I want to highlight here is that an engineering diploma is not only eligible to apply for engineering courses in the university, it is eligible for business courses and others, as you can see over here. However, the other way around is not true. Please don't get me wrong. We are not encouraging everyone to apply for engineering courses or to switch path from engineering to others. But I want to highlight that there are more options for engineering diplomas in higher education.
All right, we are about to start our sharing. All right, if you have any question, please feel free to post them to the Q&A button, and we will try to attend to your question. Okay, is that okay? Now, you may also find that some of these questions in the students sharing. If there's any question not covered during the sharing, we will try to come back again and revisit them. Right. So let me first invite Ellie. Ellie is our current year 2 student from the diploma in aerospace engineering to share with us her life in poly. All right. Ellie has completed her A-levels before joining Temasek Poly. Now, Ellie, thanks for joining us this evening. Hi,
Thank you,
Ellie.
Dr. Hu. Hi. Hello,
You may like,
everyone.
hi, you may like to tell us why you joined JC in the first place, and then at some point in time, I think you feel things are devastating to you, and then of course you persevere, and you join Poly, and that's where you are right now. And we'd like to know how you're doing so far, and I hope that you can share with us your experience in this journey, serving as a reference to those who are joining this webinar. All right, Ellie, can you help share with us your experience here?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ho. Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie, and I would first like to apologize again for having my mask on as I'm still in school. So, thank you. So, let me share a little bit about my background. I was from Sri Kai St. Teresa's Convent, and I later went to JC where I completed my A-level. And the subject combination I took was H2 Math, Chemistry, and Physics, and H1 Literature. So, first of all, why did I choose to go to the A-level route? That was because back then, after I completed my O-levels, there was this saying that A-level is a better option because it's easier to get into uni. But after going through both routes, I realized that that statement is not true because when you take the A-level route, your next step is only uni. Unlike in poly, we have two options, which is either to start working because we already have the basic qualifications, or we enroll into uni. I will delve into that a little bit more. So upon receiving my A-level results, it was not good enough for me to get into the course that I wanted in a local university, which was aerospace engineering. And of course, I felt very devastated as I studied really hard for my A-levels. I understood that there are many other pathways which I could have taken after my A-levels, which such as like part-time degree or even enroll myself in a private university. However, after doing my research and much consideration, I realized that poly was way more worth it, especially the aerospace course here in CP. So I found out that the aerospace engineering course here in CP is a collaboration with Lufthansa Technical Training of Germany, also known as LTT. So TT is actually a SAR 147 Singapore Airworthiness training organization that provide high quality training by professional instructors, which means that we get the best guidance that is recognized by the industry in school, and all of this is actually inculcated in our curriculum. So this means that I am able to receive direct credit that will shorten the cost for me to attain my aircraft maintenance license by approximately 9 months. So this license is one that I have to attain eventually, and I never imagined that I'll be able to do it now. Apart from this, I also realized that in poly, we are trained in both theory and practical skills, which really gives me an advantage when I join the working force in the future. So yeah, JC So I was struggling in JC and constantly feeling very drained. While now that I am in poly, yes, it can be stressful at times, but I'm doing something that I enjoy. And I never imagined working towards my aircraft maintenance license today. So yeah, that is a little bit about myself and why I choose to enter poly after my A-levels. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ellie, for sharing with us your journey and your consideration and your encounters in this very difficult journey. We're happy that you find good in this course that you're doing right now. But just a simple question, you are in aerospace engineering as a female student in a male-dominant course, where aerospace engineering you need to deal with engines, machine, and how does this pose as a challenge for you as a lady or a female? And really, what's your plan after you get your diploma?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ho. Yes, it's true. This is a very male dominant course. In fact, any engineering course is normally very male dominant. So like in my class, there are about 20 male students and only 4 female students, including myself. Personally, I don't really see much of a difference in both the male and female capabilities in handling machines, especially aircraft engines in my case, because during lessons or our lecturers treat us all the same. If we need extra help, they will be more than willing to help us. And in the course itself, students will help each other because we work as a team during practical lessons. So there's nothing to be afraid of for me as a female. For my plans, after getting my diploma, actually I'm still thinking of which route I would like to take after my diploma because I would like to attain my license in aircraft maintenance, which means I will have to start working after my diploma. Um, I know this might sound surprising because my initial plan was to go to university and attain a degree. I mean, since I did choose the A-level route before this, but the opportunity to attain my license early is such a good one because eventually, even after my degree, I would still have to get my license. So it's a matter of time when I'll attain it. However, I also have done my research. If I were to get a degree after my diploma, and I found out that I can enroll in either NTU or SIT because both universities offer aerospace courses, and they also both allow exemption for poly students. So I save about a year in uni because I've already taken the modules here in poly. So you see, both options are really good, and I just need a bit more time to think about it. I'm very thankful that I have so much more options now that I am in poly back as compared to back then when I was in A levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Wow, we can see that you are really spoiled with choices. All right, and we wish you all the best to your future. All right, thank you, Ellie.
Thank you.
Next, let me invite Natasha, all right, to share with us her experience. Now, Natasha has completed her year 1 in JC and then decided to join Poly. All right, she's currently a year 2 student in diploma in biomedical engineering. Hi, good evening, Natasha.
Hi, good evening, Dr. Ho.
Understand that you never wait too long. You only stay in JC for 1 year already, 1 year only. Then you make the switch to Poly. All right. Tell us what happened, all right, where you have made your decision initially to go JC in the first place, and then later on decided to go other way.
Okay, sure. Good evening, everyone. So I'll just give a short background about myself. I went to Cedar Grove Secondary School where I took double humanities and combined sciences. And in JC, I took H2 chemistry, physics, math, and literature. Unlike Alicia, of course, I was halfway through the JC curriculum before I decided to transition to poly. Personally, for me, I actually had quite some difficulty adapting to the JC curriculum, especially because the jump from combined sciences to H2 sciences is really quite a long stretch. And honestly, I was getting quite demoralized at how I was unable to overcome this struggle, even though I was studying super hard for it. But I knew that I really wanted to pursue a science-related career in the future. So after much thought and a year has passed, I switched to poly. And honestly, I feel really grateful to have made this transition because it really suited my preference for learning. Of course, that one distinguishing factor between the poly and GC curriculum is that they provide different styles of teaching. So in poly, the modules are a lot more hands-on and interactive. as compared to the JC's teaching method, which is a lot more theory-based and by the book, and it's very similar to the O-level route. Honestly, I think if you were to ask me, which course of study was more stressful to me, honestly, JC felt like that. But it's not because the curriculum was a whole lot more rigorous than Poly. I actually fairly enjoyed my time that lasted in JC. And Poly also has its fair share of work with group projects and individual submissions to work for. However, I feel that the way the Poly curriculum seems easier and stands out is the way that our Poly lecturers teach the content, and also the way our practical sessions are held is a lot more interesting than JC's practicals, which is very similar to those that have been done in secondary school. So for example, in my course in biomedical engineering, during practical sessions, we actually get to work with actual medical devices such as infusion pumps, electrocardiograms. And actually just yesterday, we had the chance to work with ventilators, which is really on par with my interest for the future. And of course, who isn't more motivated to learn when it's something that interests them or is new to them, right? So yeah, I just really like how students like us get the privilege to learn about our modules and be really hands-on with real-life applications and devices related to our course.
Thanks, Natasha, for sharing with us your journey here. Just a question for you. Since you're in biomedical engineering courses, you deal with ventilator and all those kind of things. Tell us what's the difference between a biomedical engineering course and a bio science courses, or
Sure. So for engineering, of course, it's a lot more mathematically inclined. So we get involved in more physics-related work like medical circuits and the different components within these circuits like microchips. And we also do a lot more coding like Python and C programming because we are working with such complex medical circuits. As for biomedical science, it leans more towards the biology modules such as histopathology and molecular biology. And there is much less mathematical and physics concepts to the course. So yeah, it really depends on where you are leaning towards and which science you are stronger in. Thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. Thanks for giving us some insight into these biomedical engineering courses. Hope that audience or the participants is able to take a good reference from there, right? All right. We have just heard from Natasha and Ellie, who are our current year 2 students. Let's hear from a year 1 student. His name is Shahir. Now, Shahir similarly also has an A-level background, and more to that, he has completed his NS before he decided to join the Temasek Poly this year. All right. Of course, now he just joined this year. He's a year 1 student with us. And hi, Natasha. Hi, Shahir.
Hi, Dr. Ho.
Thanks for joining us this evening, and we hope that you can share with us your very, very unique experience. And it's a very long experience. You're very resilient in this whole thing, having an A-level and then go through the NS, and then now you're in year 1, the Temasek Poly. All right, tell us more.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Shahir. So I entered TP last year, actually, just 2 weeks after I finished my national service. So some background about myself. I went to JC because I did not know what I wanted to do in Poly. I did not have any strong interest towards any course back then. So my goal after O-levels has always been to enter university. So I thought going to JC would be the fastest route to reach university. So I like studying humanities in secondary school. I like studying social studies and history. So I thought it would be good for me to continue doing humanities in JC. So after I received my A-level results, my results were subpar, and the courses that were available to me in university were humanities and business, which were not in my interest. So it was at that point in time, I decided I did not want to pursue humanities in the future. So moving on to post A-level education, 2 options were available to me, which were either private uni or Poly. So I went ahead with Poly because finances were an issue for me. So regarding the course, why I chose computer engineering, I had a slight interest towards computers in general. So I went ahead and chose computer engineering in TP. So I chose this course because it allows flexibility and exposure to both hardware and software. I also chose this course because it gives me a confirmation on whether computer engineering is really suited for me in the post-poly education. because I can apply to other related computing degrees since this course gives me the exposure to various computing fields. So that pretty sums up why I chose to join Poly after my NS.
Thanks, Shaya. Thanks, Shaya. Unlike the other two students, the two girls before you, they are in the year 2 student. You are still fresh, year 1. All right, until the next batch of freshmen join us. So you're almost finishing your 1 year already. Can you tell us about the experience that you have in TP? You know, especially the curriculum. You know, in Poly as compared to where you came. You know, your previous school, JC.
Okay, so I'm now doing an engineering diploma despite having a humanities background in JC. So it was a big jump for me because whatever subjects I'm learning in Poly is very different compared to JC, other than math, of course. So like every other student entering Poly for the first time, I was worried about whether I would be able to cope with subjects like circuits and programming. Thankfully, I'm able to cope so far with the subjects. So I want to share my thoughts regarding the JC subjects I took. So I took history and economics. So these subjects are very heavy and they go very in-depth in JC. So it can be very stressful when you are trying to remember a lot of information and concepts for the exams. As compared to Poly modules, I would say they are more bite-sized compared to JC. There's also a huge breadth of topics that you will learn in Poly. So regarding the assessment to enter university, in JC, A-levels is like the sole assessment to enter university. Whereas in Poly, every small graded assessments, online and lab tests, carries a weightage to your GPA when you want to enter university. So for example, personally, I prefer the Poly way of assessments because if let's say I'm a student that has been doing well in majority of the assessments, I will feel less stressed even before I enter the final exam room because I will have clinched sufficient marks for a decent grade. So far, majority of the subjects, the final exam only carries a weightage of 30%. So I would say that it is manageable to do well in Poly. Oh yeah, before I forget, I would like to wish all the students here all the best for your results tomorrow. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. So nice of you. All right, I have a question coming in here asking what are the entry requirements to Poly if I decided to enter after my A levels? All right, I think this is a very relevant question to three of you here. Yeah, can you give us some lights? Anyone?
Hi. Okay. I think I can answer this question. So I completed my A levels. So okay. So there's actually two options that you can take when applying for poly after your A levels. So the first one is, but this is all depends on the relevance of your course. So the first option is actually to get a direct admission to year 2. So you skip year 1 of poly, and this is for only for certain poly courses because some of the poly courses are very heavy in the specific course that they are learning. So for myself, I couldn't skip to year 2 because certain modules like programming or gas turbine engine were not taught in A level, so I have to learn it from scratch. So that's why I couldn't skip to year 2. But if you but you still can apply under JAE. There's a time frame JAE for poly, and you have to do the first you have to do the full 3 years. So but I would say don't worry too much because some modules such as math, some of the science modules also are quite manageable, especially if you've done it in your E levels. Yeah, so that's my answer. I hope it helps.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, and Ellie is correct. Ellie is correct. I mean, if you have an A level entry requirement, some of the modules you can be exempted. For example, especially in engineering courses, you have physics, you'll be exempted if you have done physics or science in your A levels, and mathematics as well. All right. So some of these subjects can be exempted, although Ellie mentioned that you still have to go through the 3 years. Yes, but within the 3 years, some of the modules really exempted, so that will give you more time to pick up things like programming, so on and so forth. All right. So this is what we can share with you. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I'm watching for the time. I think we have to move on, although we will try to answer as many questions as we can. And then now I think we hope that we have all these questions answered in the first segment of Poly or JC. Later on, if there's any burning question, we will then come back to revisit them again. All right. So let me continue with the webinar.
Let's have a quick summary on what the students have shared and what we have discussed. The learning style is more hands-on in Poly curriculum. Now, is this aligned better to your preference? In terms of the number of subjects, JC has fewer but go deep, whereas in Poly, students take more subjects but bite size. It appears that A-level is relatively more stressful than Poly. This could be attributed to the assessment method. As for assessment method, in JC, you take one exam and that determines almost everything. But in Poly, we focus on continuous assessment and exam is just about 30%. In fact, there is an increasing trend that more subjects are moving away from exams. I've earlier covered the chances of getting into the universities. There are more opportunities these days for Poly grads to further their education in our local universities. In fact, Poly grads are presented with more options. They can choose to go to work apart from a fixated path to go uni. Some may also like to take a leap year to go to work first, then think about the courses they like to pursue in the universities. This is an example of a lifelong learning style. Last but not least, other considerations. No uniform in Poly, which is pretty obvious. And to some who feel that language is not their strength, there is no general paper or mother tongue to add on to their stress. Before I go further, let's take a look at what a typical day is like for students in our school.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat.
All right, next we will share about what is life in Poly. All right, so may I invite Caleb to give us some insights about his life in Poly. Caleb is now a year 2 student from the diploma in mechatronics. He has done very well for his O level and is a JC eligible student. All right, but he opted to join a diploma course. So he has also done well in poly as he was awarded the TP scholarship in engineering. And let's hear from him about his consideration in joining poly instead of JC and also his life so far in poly. Hi, Caleb.
Hi. Yeah. Okay. So, I previously studied in Bowen Secondary School, and during then, I really realized that I enjoyed doing physics and math. So I kind of had an idea that I may want to do engineering in the future. So at the same, when I was Sec 4, I went to the open house at Temasek Polytechnic, and I was very impressed by the mechatronics booth, because they had 3D printing and they also had a programmable robot hand, which was really cool, which I thought. So I applied for AAE in mechatronics. And in poly, the weightage for our curriculum is quite different from secondary school. So our curriculum is 70% continuous assessment and 30% exam. So for my curriculum, CA consists of projects, labs, and mini tests, and they all count towards my GPA. So I would say that consistency is very important. And I personally enjoy the lab sessions as I can learn a lot of practical skills. So last year, I bought a second-hand guitar and rewired it, and now it works, thanks to one of the modules that I learned last year, which is circuit analysis. And currently, for this semester, one of the subjects that I really enjoy is machining technology, because I can try out and learn how to do the machining processes such as milling, turning, and drilling as well. And the products that we came out with using those processes is a phone holder, which is over here. Okay, can everyone see? I think,
Yep.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. So that's one of the things that we made using all these processes, which is quite cool. And not only that, we're going to use 3D printing to add parts to our phone stands to make it nicer. Yeah. And in addition to all these subjects, we also have subjects that teach us useful skills that we can use for the workforce, such as resume writing and learning about work communication. And as for extracurricular activities, I'm currently enrolled in the engineers program and TP Lead program, which gives us opportunities to attend programs and camps to learn about leadership qualities. And TP has a lot of clubs also. So I'm in the swimming club and also the engineers peer mentor club. So I can train during swimming sessions while also serving in the engineer peer mentors club. Yeah, and that's my experience in school.
Thanks, Caleb. Thanks. So it sounds like really you are enjoying yourself in the school right now. You have CCA, swimming club, so on and so forth. And one thing good is that you also apply what you have learned. You make that prototype that you are doing right now, the phone holder, right? So looks like you have a lot of fun here in poly, huh? Right? Okay. So hope you have another year to go. Hope you have more fun coming up. All right. Okay. All right, next I want to bring on board Ryan. All right, Ryan is currently our year 3 student from the diploma in electronics. Now, Ryan has recently won a silver medal in the national competition, the World Skills Singapore. All right, so like Ryan is also like Caleb. Ryan is also a TP scholarship holder in engineering, and Ryan is also eligible for JC, but he has opt for poly. All right. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan.
Yeah, you may like to share with us, your decision to apply for poly instead of JC, and tell us more about your, exciting poly life.
Yes, sure. So I think I'll just share a bit about myself first. In secondary school, I used to get consistent A1s most of the time. And I even got a L1R5 of 6 with 2 bonus CCA points. That means that I could go to any JC or poly I wanted, any course. meaning RI, VJC, but I still chose to come to electronics in TP anyway.
Yeah, so lucky.
So some people might call me crazy, but I love finding out how things work. I love building things and creating things to help people. So that's what I want to do in future. So after, like, in my fourth Sec 4, I did some research and found that in poly I could gain technical skills and knowledge that would be useful in the workforce. And I never got that chance in secondary school because it's mainly focused on academics. And I know that this is true because recently in my internship now, my supervisor was really impressed with some of the work I did in designing and assembling the printed circuit board PCBs. Additionally, like my friends here have said, Poly has a more continuous assessment compared to JC and secondary schools one-time exam, which I feel is more reflective of life, and I like that better because it trains us to value consistency more and enables us to pick ourselves up after failures and carry on. So Poly also has this internship part where in your third year, will be attached to an organization or company. For myself, I am currently attached to HTX. It's a branch under MHA, the Ministry of Home Affairs. So right now, I'm working on projects to help build robots to help the community. And last but not least, I chose Poly because it gives me more freedom. Not in the sense that we don't have clothes and uniform, although that's a great thing too, but I'm more responsible and in charge of my own time, so I can plan out my day and it's less stressful to me. So like Caleb, I'm also in the engineers program. So these are just one of the many activities that TP offers us. And my favorite part of this engineers program will be the higher engineering skills, because as I said before, I didn't have much of a chance to work hands-on in secondary school. So in these higher engineering skills, I was given the opportunity to program a microcontroller, Arduino. And it was my first time, so I learned the basics of it and even submitted a project for a competition, which won gold. Apart from that, like Dr. Ho had mentioned, I also participated in the World Skills last year, 2021. And it was a very exciting journey from all the way from the training to the competition itself. Because in the training, I got to meet other people from different years. And we delve deeper into topics taught in the normal curriculum, such as practicing papers from NTU even, the digital and analog subjects. And we picked up new skills like fault finding and programming industry standard microcontrollers like the STM32. So I feel that this is why it's fun to me. So for the competition itself, it was rather a roller coaster of a journey because I see one question asking who won gold. So let me just tell a short story. Okay, so I was actually in the lead for the first day. The competition is held across 3 days. So the first day I was in the lead, but I made quite a big mistake on the second day, which caused me to drop a lot. But on the last day, I managed to pick up and get silver anyway. So I'm currently the president of the EMC, Engineering Makers Club also. And what we do here is to build and create things. So as well as conduct outreach events to raise awareness of engineering and teach the general public as well as other TP students about engineering and DIY skills. But because of COVID, we weren't able to do much as there were a lot of restrictions. I think that's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ryan, for sharing with us your very colorful life here in TP. And I'm sure you are really, really, really enjoying yourself so far, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, for the participant here, you have heard from the year 1, year 2, and our year 3 students. All right. We would like to invite an alumni for the sharing. All right. Let's welcome Surya. Surya is our alumni. He has graduated with a diploma in mechatronics. Now, Surya is a silver medalist from his diploma course. And on top of that, all right, Surya has recently been awarded the PSC scholarship. Wow. With this PSC scholarship, Surya is now doing his undergrad study in SUTD. All right. Hi, Surya. Very, very nice to have you joining us with a busy schedule in SUTD. All right. Hi, Surya.
Good evening, Dr. Ho. Thank you
Hi,
for
hi.
inviting me back. It's always been a good experience to be back in Poly, and I still enjoy to come back to Poly. Whenever I pass by, still at SCTD, I'm actually kind of close to TP. So whenever I want to buy stuff, I go pass by, like, oh, TP is here. I miss it a lot. Yeah.
Right, TP is your home, right? Okay.
Yep.
Now, if not wrong, Surya, you are staying in Woodlands, all right, Woodlands, and in your diploma there you have choose TP, all right. Something we would like you to share with us, Surya. Why so strongly that you believe in TP, and how do you find your life in TP over the last 3 years? Right, all these are very interesting things that maybe you would like to share with all of us here.
First of all, I think I was very lucky to join TP. In other words, it was fortunate. When I was looking through courses and I applied different polytechnics, TP came. I got an opportunity to join TP under mechatronics and aerospace engineering. It's a joint program currently converted to common engineering program as general. But when I look at this, it was something very related to me because I was into watching air crash investigations and I was also into robots and stuff. So I was like, hey, I should keep my options wide, but I also don't want to keep it too wide. And then this name just clicked me in very well, and I was like, oh, this sounds like something I really want to do. And and just the name itself brought me into TP. That's the first thing which attracted me towards TP. But moving on, also looking at TP's location, very near Changi Airport and the malls around, and even Tampines Hub, it gives you a very friendly, interactive, and inclusive society, I guess. And it was a very nice place for me to explore. And after a while, I really found TP more interesting and Tampines more fun than Woodlands itself. So I kind of enjoyed staying at Tampines more. Yeah.
Right, that's nice. So does TP, how does TP, help you reach your goals? All right, maybe you'd like to share with us, and how does, now you're in the SUTD, right? How does Poly prepare you for university curriculum?
So for TP itself, during my first year, I was still just studying. I was not really sure, and this is when lecturers and staff really stepped in to help me. So they thought that they came to me and like, you're just studying, why not try something new, explore what other stuffs you can do, and what is your passion, what is your interest. Have you ever tried of joining CCS and stuff? And slowly the topics came up, and initially I started helping out and doing some community services during my year ones. But moving on, since my interest was also in robotics, I joined Engineering Makers Club as a member and started helping out with projects and learning stuff from Engineering Makers Club. And this moved on my interest, and I was getting more engaged in it. Then I started joining up competitions like Tangkaki Young Inventors Award, SCTD Electric Go-Kart Design Challenge. And slowly over the period, I realized I was really having fun in projects more than really studying, and I started taking up more and more projects, more and more trainings. And eventually, I also ended up joining Temasek Leadership Program, where I get to explore outside school, not just projects and CCS in school, where I get to go for PATP, which is People Association and Temasek Polytechnic, a joint program, where you get to go to your CC near your house at Woodlands. So I went to Woodlands CC, where you will get to plan out events for the community, work out with them, and then it was a very nice experience for me to actually understand my community itself. I didn't know I was so left out from my community until I joined this program and started working with them. it was a 9-month program actually. So you go for a camp to teach you basic leadership skills. After that, you will eventually move on to helping out in the CCs or volunteering or taking up projects of your own initiatives and working on. As it further progressed, this led me to actually enjoy my life in the community service part also. I found myself interested and passionate about it. And I eventually become a member at my CC, and still today I'm a member, continue volunteering. Apart from that, there are also other opportunities where I get to work with YCS, Youth Corps Singapore, and other outside organizations. So slowly, TP brought my network not just within TP, but also outside TP, introducing what the community needs and how can we solve problems in the community, how can we work out with different partners and organizations, which was a really eye-opening place for me. And I didn't thought it would be so different. It was a point where I started to realize life is not just studying and focusing on yourself, but you need to open up and see what others are doing and how you can cooperate and how you can do something different with what you know. And it really made me feel interested. And still today, I'm looking forward to how I can make use of my skills to make the community a better place and improve others' life. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Surya. Your experience and what you think is value add to you. How TP can help you achieve your goals, so on and so forth. Right. Thank you so much. All right. I think we will continue from our webinar right now with the next for sharing with you some other information that I had. All right, we just heard that these are the students about their poly life, their experience, why they want to choose poly, and what is life for them. In poly, let's take a look at how engineering really play a part in Singapore.
What would you do if you had the power to transform our future? We live in a global hub for innovation and enterprise, where change is the only constant. Here, there's no limit to our imagination. Our engineers are developing new ways of working to tackle tomorrow's challenges and create a more sustainable Singapore. Our scientists are discovering innovative solutions to strengthen our resilience and provide us with safe and healthy food options. Our tech experts are harnessing the power of technology to change the way we live, work, and play. So, how would you transform our future? Discover, imagine, create. What's next for you?
As we can see from the short video, engineering is our economic pillar. We need many engineering talents. This is one scholarship I want to highlight to you on how we support the government direction. In the School of Engineering, we have dedicated scholarship called the Temasek Polytechnic Scholarship (Engineering). I'd like to let you know that we have 30 of these scholarships allocated to the School of Engineering alone. We have another 30 allocated among the other 5 schools in Temasek Poly. So why is it so special? Or rather, some may see as biased about engineering schools taking the lion's share of the scholarships. In our tomorrow's world, in fact, you are now seeing some of this happening. Robots serving food in the restaurants, drones flying around for security surveillance, electric cars on the road, artificial intelligence, data analytics, etc. So in our tomorrow's world, we need a lot of well-trained, talented engineering people. Earlier, you have heard our students share about Engineers Program. I'd like to provide you with some insights here. For those who are able to cope with their studies, we want to develop their potential further by putting them through our Temasek Engineers Program. As you have heard from the students sharing, in this Temasek Engineers Program, they will be trained and be given opportunity to lead and to increase their technical competencies through skill-deepening trainings. At the end of the day, we hope to develop the student with a heart to serve our communities, our society, with what they have learned. All this will not be possible without the flexibility of poly curriculum. We are very proud of this engineers program. One of the participants in this program is Surya, who has recently been awarded the PSC scholarship. He has been featured in the news as I've shown a snippet here. This engineers program has been implemented here in our School of Engineering for about 3 years, and we have seen two other students, Patrick and Joel, who have also benefited from this program and received the PSC scholarships like Surya. By the way, this program is not to produce PSC scholars, but I just thought of using this as a reference on how the program has helped to prepare students beyond academics. Besides developing students to the fullest, we have worked with local university on university pathway program for our students. One such program is TP SUTD program.
20 engineering students from Temasek Polytechnic will get to take relevant modules conducted by the Singapore University of Technology and Design. The new Through Train program is part of efforts to increase the number of pathways for poly students. Tan Se Hui with this report.
Temasek Polytechnic School of Engineering is offering a through train program for students starting this year. The 4 eligible diploma courses are electronics, mechatronics, biomedical engineering, and computer engineering. Students will be assessed on their academic grades and interview performance at the end of the second year. Once selected, they can start taking modules from the Singapore University of Technology and Design.
I get to get my bachelor degree in 3 years, which is very interesting because it's an accelerated program. I eventually hope I can get a career that I'm very passionate about and I really enjoy.
This isn't TP's first through train program. It also has a tie-up with the Singapore Institute of Technology for mechatronics students, and it says they've seen increased interest in such pathways, especially in the engineering sector.
In the next few years, we are going to see a need for very unique capabilities and unique products coming out from the manufacturing sector in Singapore. So in preparation for this, the universities as well as the polytechnics are working towards preparing our students and graduates with such skills.
More of such pathways are expected to roll out in the coming years.
There are plenty of options now as the Ministry of Education tries to diversify the education landscape and increase the number of pathways. And therefore, the polytechnics have been trying to capture the interest of secondary school leavers.
Professor Tan adds that it's encouraging to see a diversification of such pathways, which give parents and students more options to enter tertiary institutions.
As you have seen from the news clips, we have collaborated with SUTD for this University Pathway program where some part of SUTD university modules are integrated into our students' Year 3 curriculum such that they will gain 1 year exemption when they join SUTD. Comparing to A-level grads, students who completed this program will study 3 years instead of 4 years in SUTD. I'd like to leave you with the following takeaways from today's webinar. Do your homework on your next step. Seriously ask yourself, what do you want to do next? And plan early. Pick something that aligns with your interests and your learning style. What if you are not sure which course or which pathway to take? Seek advice from the ECG counselors, teachers, family members, your seniors, or talk to our course consultants. Hope we have given you some idea about the Poly or JC pathway, the life in Poly, and the holistic student development program we had here in the School of Engineering. Just want to highlight to you that in the School of Engineering here in Temasek Poly, we have 10 diplomas and 1 program. Please feel free to check out our website for more details on these courses.
All right, no worry if you need more information regarding our course or JAE. As much as we can, we will try to answer to your question. And please check out our website for the necessary course review talks, as well as the course advisement, which is referring to the online chat that we as you can see over here. All right, and we highly encourage you to make an appointment with us or register through the website so that you can have all your questions answered specifically to the course that you are looking for. All right. I'm sorry, we are running a little bit over time here. We're supposed to end at 8:30, and now we're stretching it to 8:37. And really, thanks for staying with us for tonight. And we have already come to the end of our webinar. Thanks for your question and the time attending the webinar. Check out our website for more information as mentioned before. And now to help us improve ourselves, appreciate that you can take some time to provide us your feedback by scanning through the QR code on the left side. And once again, from all of us here, the School of Engineering, the student, the panelists, we appreciate your time, attention. Have a very good time, good evening, and we hope to see you in Temasek Poly. And for those collecting the results soon, all the best to you, and we hope to see you in Temasek Poly. All right. From all of us here, panelists, can you turn on your camera? And we want to say bye-bye and good luck to all.